Hey guys, welcome to round seven Millville Site Lap. I'm your host, Brent Bowser. We're joined by gold miner Jeff Beaver. What's going on, Jeff? How are you, man?
Good, dude. Dying up here. It's hotter than hell up here. Bone dry. I mean, you could hang a wet shirt outside and be dry in 10 minutes. It's so hot and dry up here, it's miserable.
I would feel sorry for you, but right now in Bakersfield it's 109. So I mean it's hot, but I'm not having to climb in all those caves and whatever you're doing over there. Got to pay the bills somehow, right?
Yeah. If you're gonna be dumb, you better be tough.
Well, hey, let's touch on Millville for round seven. We'll talk about Redbud a little bit. Man, what a Redbud it was! Awesome race we
I
had.
wouldn't know.
But
I wasn't there.
I know I was surprised that, and there you are at the mine again, and you're not going to Millville this weekend. So yeah, I guess we're gonna have to find somebody else to go. I guess.
You suit up, dude. Head out.
But looking at Millville again, the weather's gonna be nice. Which is, I was looking at it this morning. I was like, man, I'm kind of glad that we haven't had any wet weather like we had for Supercross. We had enough wet weather for the year. But looking at this weekend, Friday is going to be 86 and Saturday is going to be 88 with 64% humidity. So I feel like we might get our
That's
first.
still pretty gnarly, dude.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I feel like we might get our first test of some fitness. I know, like Southwick's rough and a little humid, and Redbud's rough. I heard the weather was nice there, but 88 and 64% humidity. These guys are gonna be, first moto might be okay, but second moto they might be feeling the effects of it for sure.
Yeah, it'll stress you. Southwick was pretty humid, dude, especially during the second motos. It was it was pretty sticky and warm. It wasn't fun, but then the rain came and it cooled off, which was pretty nice. But boy, that next day,
Yeah, no, thank
oh,
you. Yeah.
they dodged a bullet on that one.
Yeah, for sure. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors before we get too far into it. Rock and Turf. If you're in the market for any artificial grass, changing mats, things like that, check out Rock and Turf. Factory Connection, UR Water, which I hope you're drinking a bunch of that UR water down there in the mine. So maybe if you have a case of it, you can pass it around. Maxxis Tires, Light Truck, Mountain Bike, Dirt Bike Tires, Speed Strap, and Baja Designs. They're a big part of our dual sport bike builds. And we'll talk a little bit about Bet Online AG here in a little bit. I checked it out a little earlier, and they have some pretty cool betting lines for both classes. So we'll talk about that a little bit. But yeah, going into Millville, I feel like Millville, you go to Redbud and you go to Millville, it's like two tracks that most riders enjoy. Like you got that softer soil, I just kind of more of iconic places. So I think Millville is a cool place. I've never been there, but I feel like every time we go there, the track's always in pretty good shape and we have some good racing.
Yeah, the big roller whoops is always fun to watch. I'll be interesting. Something tells me Chase is just going to excel at that place, and then Mountain Martin. I mean,
Yeah.
coming down that thing, it's whoever shuts off last, right?
Yeah.
And so that gets pretty exciting. I like that track. I think it's a great facility.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like, obviously you have the sand loops that are like it makes the track famous, right? That section is pretty cool and it's always been there. It's a staple. And there's been a lot of, we've seen, over the years, a lot of passes made and, insane racing going through there. And what was cool about it is, I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe it was even longer, when they added Mount Martin that went even farther up the hill than it had before, which made the track a lot better, I think. And I mean, that hill looks steep on TV, but you hear people talking about it where you can't even walk up it during, if you're trying to walk the track and stuff like that. So I feel like this track's always fun. I always go back to the James Stewart Trey Kennard battle in like 2013 on that track, and yeah, I think it's an awesome track, and it'll be fun to see how these guys ride it. And then jumping in the 450 class, I'm with you there. I think Chase Sexton, he went 1-1 last weekend at Redbud. Obviously, Jets out of the series. Chase probably feels like he's the man to beat. Hunter was leading that first moto at Redbud, and with a couple laps to go, he had that big get off. And we maybe saw some side effects of that in the second moto, but yeah, I feel like Chase Sexton's probably pretty confident going into the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, he's got all the steam behind him, but don't count Hunter out. And I mean, Nate and Hunter Schlosser went out to Ironman this week, and
Mm-hmm.
test rode the new 25 Honda 450, and Hunter was there riding his 24 race bike and goofing around, and he was fine. You know, we
Okay,
put
yeah.
up a little edit this morning of him and Hunter whipping over that jump right before
Yep.
the
I
Deegan
saw that.
send it, and
Yeah.
so I think he'll be fine. The one thing I kind of wonder is his mechanics out for a little while, dealing with some stuff, and you know, they're a team, right? They're a
Hmm.
team within a team, and luckily Christian, I think, is stepping in and taking up care of Hunter because
Hunter, Jet's
Jet's
out.
out.
Hmm.
So there's probably some pretty good synergy, but when you work day in and day out, you know every little nuance of what Hunter wants and bike setup, and I'm sure they're talking on the phone left and right and making sure everything's dialed. But when you have that big bearded uh snow crab grizzly man Cameron sitting there in your ear, and then you look over and Christian sitting there smiling at you with a funky smile on his face, it's a little bit different, right? You know, and Christian may be blowing in his ear messing with him, who knows? But uh I kind of wonder if there'll be any kind of difference in the way he performs on the weekend with his mechanic out. I mean, at that high of a level, every little thing matters, right? And
Yeah, for sure. And you
kind
think
of,
about,
I kind of wonder if that'll affect anything.
yeah, you never know. Maybe it might be. It's probably better that he is going from Jet to Hunter. You know, obviously they're brothers, but I know they have different bike setups, but probably similar to work with. So maybe it's a little easier. But yeah, at that level, any change is always more significant than you think. And yeah, I think about Hunter going 2-4 last weekend. Again, he crashed the first moto, got up, finished second. Second moto, if you think about all the interviews I heard and some of this different interviews with him, is he made a tire change before that second moto where he went from the scoop to a traditional tire, which we saw his worst start of the season, maybe because the start was so deep. Um, and yeah, he worked his way back up to fourth, and he even mentioned on the podium maybe he hit his head a little bit more than he thought, but like you said, he was out there riding this weekend at this week at Ironman when they're doing that Honda intro, and he seems fine. So Hunter knows that it's between him and Chase. Obviously, his brother's out, and now he's 7 points back. I really think that he wants to show something this weekend, just not let Chase get away and get another 1-1. Because if he lets Chase get away and get another 1-1, then he's already double-digit points down, and it's going to be hard to crawl back in 4 rounds.
Yeah, he's going to be chanting, tuck the front end, tuck the front end.
Agreed.
I don't know. I think Hunter could do it. I think Chase has the momentum at the moment, but I wouldn't even dream of calling who's going to win that title. I think either one of them easily could win it.
Yeah, and again, you could see what happened to Hunter last week, and Chase could have the same issues. He could have he could be going charging hard and go down. You just never know, right? We didn't think Jet would be out for a thumb issue after we saw what happened at Hangtown with his shoulder. So you never know. The sport's wild. It's weekend by weekend, and yeah, these guys do what they can. But I was looking at last year results. Hunter was in the 250 class, obviously, and he went 1-2 for the overall, so he's good at Millville. We'll see how that translates to the 450, but I expect a Sexton Hunter battle up front, and then that podium spot I think is it's pretty much open between Justin Cooper, Aaron Plessinger, and Jason Anderson. I feel like those three are kind of the guys that are fighting for that last podium spot, so to speak.
Yeah, that's probably pretty close. I'd almost think Malcolm's right on the verge of sneaking up in there on the podium.
Yeah, I mean he got sixth overall last week, and he's been steady moving up. So that would be sweet. Imagine Malcolm getting a podium outdoors after not racing for 10 years. I think the fans would enjoy it. It'd be good for the sport, right?
Oh, dude, place would
Yeah,
go wild.
yeah.
Imagine if him and AP both got on the podium.
I know, dude. That scene at Redbud with AP on the podium was insane.
Him riding Evan the deer and all that crap. Great.
I know he was sick. He mentioned that he was sick for the race, but man, I was hoping to see a video because last year or the last time he podiumed there, he ended up doing a beer bong with the fans along the fence line. And so I was wondering if he's going to repeat that, but he's probably thinking twice about it because he was sick and who knows, all
He
of
needs
the
to get sick more often if he's going to end up second or whatever it is, dude,
Yeah.
get some. Go get the
Eh,
flu. Have some hay fever.
Yeah,
It's working out for him.
yeah, I mean, nothing makes Redbud better than Aaron Plessinger being on the podium.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got that skull going. He got fourth that first moto, and he wanted to be up there waving that flag. He gets second moto, and he gets second overall. And man, it was a sight to see. So awesome for AP. Good dude. I'm glad he's been up in the mix. And but yeah, going back to Chase and Hunter, I feel like man, it's just going to be between those two guys, and who doesn't make the most mistakes. And we'll see if Hunter can pick up some raw speed. I mean, he showed it Redbud that first moto where Chase was trying, but he just didn't get him. I thought Chase was going to get him quicker, but yeah, he was just there. And then Hunter made the mistake, and then it was kind of easy sailing there for Chase. But it's going to be a fun, interesting last couple rounds of the outdoors.
Yeah, I definitely think it is.
So I want to look at Bet Online AG for this week. Last week, really didn't talk about much because they were updating the odds because Jet was obviously hurt. But if you look at Bet Online AG, there is some spicy bets on there. So for the 450 class, there's multiple things you can bet. You can bet Sexton versus Hunter, which Sexton's the favorite at minus 250, and Hunter's he's not the favorite at plus 170. So that if you think Sexton's going to win, you got to put up 250 to win 100. So I don't know, that I feel like that's too close to call. So if I was going to bet on that, I probably would stay away. What are your thoughts on that? If you had to bet on Sexton versus Hunter?
Keep my money in my damn wallet. I ain't betting shit.
I agree with that one. And then the next head to head is Justin Cooper at minus 150 as a favorite versus Aaron Plessinger at plus 110. So again, two guys that are very close. Jay Coop's the favorite, but I just feel like that's too close to take a gamble on.
I think I'd put AP as the favorite. I mean, he's just had better results. I mean, Justin Cooper's doing good, but I think in that one, if I was going to put my money down, I would put it on AP.
Yeah. And then this is the fun part, the odds to win the race. Sexton's minus 200 makes sense. He's the points leader. But then you get into the guys that are not the favorites that have a plus percentage next to their name to against for winning. So Hunter Lawrence is plus 200. Justin Cooper is plus 700 to win. Aaron Plessinger is plus 1,000. And Chase Anderson, if you want to get really crazy, it's plus 1,400. So let's say you put $100 on Chase Anderson to win, and if he pulls that off, you win a $1,400. So I mean, I don't know if
That
I'd
might
go.
be worth throwing $100 on AP.
Yeah, AP, yeah, plus 1,000. I mean, you can win $1,000, or if you bet, it depends what all you bet is plus whatever the odds are. But yeah, I feel like that J Coop and AP one plus 700 plus 1,000. If you want to throw some money at it, again, you don't know for sure what's going to happen, but those are pretty good odds that you don't really get a lot of that on guys that are that caliber. So makes it fun. I have only done it during Supercross. I've stayed away from it during outdoors because I didn't always have the best luck in Supercross. So bet wisely, and if only bet money that you are willing to lose. But yeah, check out BetOnline AG. We'll post a link to that on our social media. But yeah, go through the link and yeah, make any bets that you want. So before we jump to the 250 class, I want to ask, like, it's been cool to watch the 450 class, but I feel like since now that Jet's out, do you feel like some of the air's been taken out of the series? Yeah, you got Hunter and Chase up front, but unless something drastic happens, it feels like just in my brain that Chase has the upper hand. But again, you never know what can happen. But I feel like the 250 class is more interesting to watch than the 450 class now that Jet's out, because it's really Hunter and Chase up front. Then yeah, the third spot on the podium is fun for the battle, but I just feel like kind of for the championship, it's kind of been deflated.
I think it's the complete opposite. The Jets
Okay.
out. Yeah, I think the 450 class is way better with him out. I mean, yeah, he's great to watch ride. He's rad, but it's like, okay, here comes Jet. Yeah, I mean, it was like when Ricky was there in outdoors. It was like, oh my God, he lost.
Yeah, really, yeah.
And that's the way it was getting with Jet. And unless you're a diehard Jet fan, that sucks.
Yeah.
Now it's like, who knows if Chase is going to win or Hunter's going to win or is AP going to win? We have no freaking idea. So, you have kind of the guy who's got the head of steam with Chase, but we don't know now. Now it's kind of the great wide open. So
Hmm.
the boss man's trying to call me, interrupt the old podcast here, man. Ping, I'll call you in a minute, but anyway, yeah, I think it's completely opposite. I'm actually more excited to watch the 450s, dude. And I may stay the whole time at the Shug. I got a 10-hour drive after the race, but I'm debating whether I stay for the second 450 because I got such a long drive. But the way things are going, I may just stay and eat it and just Ironman it on the way home because who knows who's going to win.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Chase has done really, really well there.
Mhm.
And I can't remember how their stuff is at Washougal with the Lawrence boys. I don't think they had the best results, but just coming into these next couple weekends, I have no idea who's going to win. So I'm more excited about the 450 class now. Like I took Saturdays off at the mine so that I could watch the racing on Saturday, and that's my overtime day, but I don't give a shit. I want to watch the racing. I want to chill,
Well, I mean,
chill.
if we all had your money, we wouldn't need our
I'd
own. So.
burn yours if I had yours, bud. I'd burn mine if I had yours. But
Yeah,
it's just you don't know who's going to win, and I
yeah,
think that's exciting. And that it really sucks when one guy just waxes everybody, dude. I
I would.
mean,
Yeah, I agree.
when MC was waxing everybody, it was cool, but it also sucked, and that's why you have the haters that hate on Jet, and you have the haters
Yep,
that hate on Vegan because their
yep.
team won't shit.
Yeah,
And
you think?
so when it's
Yeah.
just a
Mhm.
battle royale and you don't know who's going to go and win, that's awesome. When you have no idea who's going to be on the podium, there's like 5, 6 dudes that could easily mix it up on the podium. That's rad for the sport. That's rad
Yeah,
for us fans. It's unfortunate for Jet. And when he comes back, I think he's going to go back to kicking everybody's ass.
yeah, sure. Yeah,
Just think
probably.
he's that guy.
Hmm.
So I think it's good.
Yeah, I will say if Hunter this weekend uh, beats Chase in the overall, let's say he goes 1-1 or 1-2, 2-1, whatever it is, Chase has a 7 point lead, which is not a lot. If Hunter beats him this weekend, it's gonna make it spicy come Washougal, and I feel like for the rest of the series. So yeah, I think this weekend's gonna tell a lot. If Chase goes out there 1-1 again, I might put a little dent in Hunter's armor and his confidence, but you just never know. This is a softer track. A lot of mistakes could happen. It gets rough. It'll be fun to watch. But yeah, so Chase has a red plate, 7 points over Hunter. And then you have Jake Coop in third, 48 points back. So yeah, should be fun. Millville's a fun track to watch. And yeah, we'll see what
Well,
if Hunter.
if you look at the points right now, the way it's going, whoever comes out of goes into the break after Washougal, I would kind of think that they're kind of the ones who would be apt to win it because if you go in with say what is it 19-point lead at Washougal, here I am going doing math again.
Hold on,
What is it?
let me get on my
Is
calculator.
it's 6 points between first and second if you go 1-1 versus 2-2,
Yeah,
right?
correct. Just three
So
points each moto. Yeah.
if Chase or Hunter had 19 points coming out of Washougal, all they got to manage is a 2-2 and they win by a point, right? Now, not to say, but boy,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good feeling with 3 races left to go.
Yeah.
So the whole thing getting upended with 5 races left. Now we're coming into 4 races left. I think it's whoever comes out of Washougal with the points lead, with the fat points lead, is probably gonna do it.
Yeah. And you know, they always, all the other things you listen to, it's like, you always think about if this person went 1-1 and this person went 2-2, what would happen? It's like it never happens. If you think last weekend, yeah, Jet or Sexton went 1-1, but Hunter went 2-4 with that crash, and Segmoto was whatever. So I feel like back in the day when it was like Stewart, Carmichael, and those guys, it was like 1-1, 2-2, 3-3. But nowadays it's like flip flop. So we'll see. But yeah, I get your point on that. It's going to be interesting to see what happens this weekend and as they go to Washougal, whoever exits there with the red plate, it's gonna be interesting. And yeah, if Chase goes 1-1 this weekend and he holds court at Washougal, it might be pretty much said and done. But again, I'm not counting Hunter out because I know he's gritty and he's gonna do what he can. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Hopefully the boys can make it through safe and make it a fun summer for us all to watch, and we don't lose somebody else as from an injury. Going
Yeah.
into going in the 250 class, yeah, Chance Hymas, he won Red Bud, and yeah, he didn't gain any points on Hayden Deegan because of that 5-point penalty he had from the Red Cross flag jumping, that which I haven't seen yet. I haven't seen any clips of seeing, but he didn't get any points on Deegan per se because of the penalty. But yeah, 4-1 for Hymas, and Deegan had that big crash moto too that we didn't see on TV. We saw on social media afterwards where he pretty much landed on that bike, and I mean, he pretty much ate shit. So, I'm
But to
sure
get
that
back up like nothing happened, the guy's unreal when it comes to that shit.
yeah, I was watching his YouTube series afterwards, and they're asking him if he's like, yeah, I hit my shoulder, but I'm fine. I'm like, dude, if that was me, like I would have been laying on this, I would have been laying on the track still.
I'd have been hit my life alert.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
falling and I can't get up.
And I don't know if you've noticed, but if you go back and watch that, he hits that tabletop jump, and you can see the bike on the landing. The dude pulls a tear off in the air as he's getting ready to hit a bike.
I wanted to see how bad he was going to eat shit.
Dude. I'm like, dude, I just leave the dirt on, where I land is where I land. But
I wonder if that was kind of like a like just almost like a habit,
it probably
in
is,
there,
yeah.
rip a tear off. You just it's like kind of automatic reaction.
It
He's
probably
like,
was.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah, yeah. As
Oh,
soon as
shit.
he gets clear vision, he sees that KTM that was on the ground. He's like, oh.
He's like grabbing it, putting it back.
Yeah.
I want to see it,
Yeah. So yeah,
Kid's
cool.
a little badass, dude.
Dude, he is.
Let's talk all the shit you want, but that kid's gnarly.
And the 250 class, man, it's just, again, the 450 class has your veterans and the guys up front, but I just love watching the 250 class because it's straight chaotic the first 10 minutes of each moto. You had Hymas goes 4-1 for the overall, then you had Masterpool go 1-5 for second. There at the end of the second moto, he was close winning the overall again. And then you have Shimoda jump in there 5-2 for third. It's like, dude, these guys are just, moto scores are all over the place, and they're all just sending it, and it just makes for a fun, interesting day. And I know this weekend they're actually going to go second because of the NBC broadcast, so the 450s are going first. So
Yeah.
I'll be curious if that plays into it, because that first moto at Red Bud, when we saw Hymas get out front and lay out those fast laps, and you got a 6-7 point or 6-second gap there pretty quick, but the track was super smooth. And if you listen to what he said, he's like, yeah, maybe went too hard. He kind of threw the anchor there at the end because he was going so hard in the beginning when it was smooth. So these guys are going to have the roughest track, roughest first moto and roughest second moto that they're not really used to. So that will be interesting. And I'm just stoked for Ty Masterpool getting that moto win last week. Yeah, second moto, he just said he got charged for 20 minutes and he got tired, which, I mean, he admitted he got tired, but got fifth, second overall. Super cool story. I just feel like there's so much parity in the 250 class. You just don't know who's going to be up front. Obviously, Deegan will be, but there's just so many good guys.
Hey, you never know. It might not be, but to me, I since about 2019 when Austin Forkner was in the 250 class, just railing everybody, and then AC went outdoors and did what he did and won the title. The 250 class since 2019 has just been where my head's been at. That's what I'm most excited to watch.
Yeah,
I like that you just don't know what they're going to do. They're less predictable, more willing to take chances and just send it. So the 250 class is just rad in my mind.
yeah, agree.
Hymas, he seems like he's a charger, but he's kind of a safe guy. Vial is very calculated, and he's fast and goes for it, and he'll try to send it when he does his cute things, and like he did at Colorado. But he's kind of safe, but he'll still send it, and then Masterpool just gets down. He doesn't talk shit. He just gets down. He's a badass.
Agreed. Yeah.
Deegan talks shit, backs it up, and gets down.
Yeah.
So it's badass.
It is.
It's just so much fun in that class, dude. I'm just digging it. And then Shimoda, yeah, we all know Shimoda's waking up. I'm calling it that he's gonna take Unadilla when he gets there. So I would love to see Deegan pull off another Washougal just waxing in the second moto, dude.
Oh,
Oh,
I know. I'm gonna be
that'll be
yeah.
so silly.
I'll be interested to see when we get back to Washougal, especially after the ride he had there last year. I mean, that was next level. That pretty much solidified himself as one of the elite guys. Obviously, he's good, but that was
You know what? The
insane at
fastest I've
Washougal.
ever seen anybody ride that place though was Tomac in 22 against what was that? The summer of
Sexton,
22 when him and Sexton
Sexton.
were going at it.
Yeah, yeah,
I saw Tomac come off the ski jump and come down and hit that left hand
oh yeah,
chicane.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
I dude, he rode the wall, hopped off the wall, kicked the bike over, hit the other wall, and took
yeah.
off. And it was like, how did he not just lawn dart himself into the other side, let alone kick the bike over? I think that track favors people with a big ass nutsack, right? Who are just gonna hammer it,
Yeah, what
and
and what's crazy is
I think that's why Deegan did what he did last year. And I think as long as he's feeling good and he's on it and he hammers down, I think that track favors somebody like that.
yeah, for sure. What's crazy about Washougal, which we'll get to about next week, one last comment I'll make is I've ridden that track. It's super slick. It looks amazing. Like the dirt's very dark, but man, with the shadows and how certain sections of the track are shaded, so it's slick, and then you have some track parts of the track that are in the sun that dry out, that are almost like baked hard pack, like SoCal. It's hard. It looks beautiful on TV, but riding it's a struggle. So
Yeah.
you would think the guys that are aggressive like Tomac and Deegan would have a hard time there, but because you really want throttle
I
control,
think
which
they make it up in the shadows and the dark spots. They
probably
just
yeah,
send it. They don't give a
yeah,
shit what's in. They don't care if there's a hole, a rut, a Buick. They don't give a shit. They're
yeah,
just gonna pin it and go. And I think that favors it. Yeah, you got to watch it, but they all kind of know, like at the bottom of that ski jump and through that chicane, when
yeah.
you go look at that track afterwards, it looks like slick concrete under there and all the dirt's pushed up to the side, but they all kind of know where those spots come out. And I think they adjust accordingly. It's just the onesie twosies here that pop up that really will get them, and the bottom side of the track's out in the sun, so they know what they're going to get. They're going to get that California hard pack. It's coming down from after you go back up over the big step up and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
wall. When you're coming back down the tree lane that they kind of straightened out
yeah.
through the whoop section, that gets a little tricky, and off the ski jump when you get into the trees there. And I think the people who send it and stuff like that are going to kill it. How the hell we got onto the Washougal trip now, but I don't know. But
It's fine. Hey, we're just trying to jump ahead. We want to see series. But the one thing I wanted to ask was we saw that press release for the 450 class that um, Tomac was going to be back at Budds Creek and Cooper Webber going to be back at Unadilla. So we still have a couple weeks before those guys make the return. But again, back to the 250 class. If you look at the results from last year, so Hunter went 1-2, J Cube 4-1. Those guys are exited the 250 class. They're now in 450. Joe Shimoda went 2-3 last year for third. Deegan wasn't on the podium. Vial wasn't on the podium. Obviously, Masterpool wasn't in the class. So yeah, interesting to see. I can't remember what happened there with Deegan last year. I can't think of anything crazy. But yeah, just looking at the results, looks like Shimoda was the best in the class that's currently there last year. So maybe we'll see what he does this weekend. But when it comes to the championship, I mean, yeah, Deegan still got a 42-point lead over Chance Hymas. Again, it would have been 37, but Chance got that 5-point penalty. Tom Vial's 43 points back. And yeah, man, I just expected more out of Tom this summer. He got that 250 East Coast Championship. His summer last year in the 250 class, his first year in the States, was solid. So I thought for sure, since he's been in these places, these tracks, that he would be closer to the front. He's a 2-time MX2 World Championship or champion. I mean, hasn't been bad, but again, I just expected him to be more in the title fight.
I just think Deegan's got mind control over Debo. I think he messed with that dude so bad. I think it's a lot like what J Law did to Dungy. He just got in his head and broke the dude. And I'm sorry, but you gotta sack up a little bit and talk some shit back, and somebody's messing with you like that, walk up and hit him right in the mouth. That'll end that.
Yeah.
Not saying physically,
No, for sure, for sure.
just wax him, show him that you're a 2-time world champion, and he didn't.
Yeah.
So when you don't do that, it's just you're gonna mind screw yourself.
Yeah.
And Deegan's over like, "Ha, I got you, bro, America," and
Yeah.
I'm trying to kick your ass next week, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm him," and he's a nice kid, but
No, for sure. Yeah.
dude, you better get aggressive and get the fire. You have to fight fire with fire, and being polite and reserved against a guy who's coming at you with his ass on fire
Yeah.
ain't gonna work.
It'd be different if it was like Vial versus Hymas, very nice guys. Not saying Deegan's not respectful, but just a different, vibe. And so Deegan's out there calling everybody out. I mean, we saw what he said to Chance after he won that first motor and he cut over off the start. He's like, Chance thought he had a chance still. We'll see how that plays out if Chance starts getting more moto wins and claws back in the points. If there's any animosity or talking going on there, that'll make it
Oh,
fun.
it'll come. It'll come.
Yeah.
I like that Deegan shows
Masterful.
Masterpool a lot of respect, though.
I like that. Me too. Me too.
Yeah, I mean, I know his dad uh trained Hayden when he was a kid, and so there's probably some synergy there. But the fact that I think he understands that Masterpool's a G, and
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
probably not a good idea to go there because it could be egg on your face time. So better to show respect. In his mind, I think he thinks he's a really worthy adversary in that situation.
Yeah. And I think anybody that's out there, again, and Deegan's got a big points lead. I just feel like you'd be stoked, even as a competitor for Time Master Pool. Me watching TV last weekend at Redbud again, when it was like reminiscent of High Point, man, with Deegan on his ass that last lap. I was an inch away from the TV. I'm just like, dude, Ty, go. It was like, it
Does your
was,
wife yell at you when you're doing that shit? Because mine gets so pissed at me.
she just films and makes me look like an idiot afterwards. She's like, "Hey, look what you look like." But yeah, I was pulling for Ty again. Like, Deegan's obviously really good, and he's got his fair share of wins, and he's on the well on his way to potentially winning this championship.
Today, Junior.
But yeah, Master Pool again. I just don't, even as a competitor, I wouldn't be mad. I'd be like, dude, that's awesome. And again, I think it's a cool story. We'll see what happens with him in pro circuit or what other team. But he's definitely earned a ride. Again, we all know Supercross woes, but you
You'd
don't.
almost think Cowie'd be willing to kick in a little more money. Cowie and Monster would be able to make up a decent salary for him to put him in.
Yeah, I mean, you don't go out and win outdoors, and then end up with no ride at the end of the year. That'd be a sad state of affairs, but you just never know. So we'll see. But I expect Masterpool to be up front again this weekend. I feel like Redbud and Millville soils kind of similar. They don't have all the different types of bases like Redbud does, but I feel like Ty will be really good there. What he trains on in Texas looks pretty similar. So I just expect Ty to be in the top 5 remainder of the summer, and yeah, podiums and maybe a couple moto wins. But yeah, it's been a fun outdoor season to watch Ty Masterpool shine.
Hey, we were just talking about how Ty, hopefully he ends up with a ride, but Tomac's in that same kind of situation coming in here. It just dawned on me, what if Tomac went back to Suzuki to finish out his career?
No,
him and Roxy. Could you imagine seeing that shit? With the old guys out there kickstarting their bikes. Like, hold on, we'll be there in a minute.
Hey, hold on, Nate.
Could you imagine the two of those kicking the shit out of you on a kickstart 1937 Suzuki? That'd be sick.
We're gonna have to have Nate cut that take out. That is
no, Nate. You cut that out, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
No, I just Tomac. Who knows? Yeah, we hear he wants to come back.
Who knows where he's gonna end up? But wouldn't that be a G move if he went to Suzuki with him? Hep would be like the biggest team in the paddock for the fan line with Roxon and Tomac there. I don't think anybody give a shit how they finished. I think they just love the whole story. I think it'd be dope. Yeah, Tomac, you need to go to Suzuki, dude.
Hey, it's not gonna happen. But if he ends up over there again, it's not gonna happen.
Hey, you're taking me to Harris Ranch if he does.
I'll do whatever you want, but I just hope he goes there and rips a twisted teeth in the post race show or something. But
yeah, I see what they're just pounding.
Yeah, I mean, fuck at this point, right? But yeah, so and then again, so we talked about Deegan. He has control of his points lead. Hymas has been strong recently. Masterpool's been an awesome story. Shimoda's been coming on strong. And again, like everybody knows that when there's pressure on him, he maybe doesn't do as good. In the season, he comes on strong. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm just curious to see if Tom Vial does anything, and even Levi Kitchen. I feel like we've forgotten about Levi Kitchen. He got a third in the Moto 2 last weekend. He went
Give us
six.
something to talk about, and we won't forget about you,
I
dude. I
know.
mean, that's where I'm at with the guy right now.
Agreed. And
He did good in that moto, but
yeah,
come on, bro, back it up. Where you at? What do you got?
if you were Levi Kitchen and you're rolling the pits after a moto and the fill-in rider won, again, you're probably stoked, but also at the same time, you're probably just like, oh,
I'd
damn.
be happy for Ty, but I'd be pissed.
I
I'd be
know.
pissed at myself.
I know.
There'd be dents and all kinds of shit.
Yeah. Seriously though, because again, the guy that had a day on the bike and now he's beating you, and yeah, that's probably not fun. But again, I'm sure Levi will turn around, and obviously Levi has great supercross skills. So yeah, don't expect him to struggle too much. But again, he's been kind of invincible the last few rounds of the outdoors, so we'll see if he can turn it around. Last thing I want to talk about on 250 class is Bet Online AG. There's a couple head-to-heads and odds of overall. So the first head-to-head is Shimoda versus Kitchen. Shimoda's a minus 200, Kitchen's a plus 150, so Shimoda's the favorite. So if you think Shimoda would beat Kitchen, you'd have to bet 200 to win 100. I'm not a big fan of that bet just because you never know with Shimoda. He's fast, but you just never know. And then Kitchen could pull something. Um, and then this other one's spicy, and I think they're doing this on purpose to see what happens. But you got Deegan versus Hymas, and Deegan's minus 225, Hymas is plus 160, so Deegan's a favorite. But I don't know. I just feel like Chance Hymas has been coming on strong, and if he might put some moto wins together, and it might get a little spicy up there at the front. So
I don't think that sixth place in Moto 2 sat well with Hayden. I'd expect
no.
him to come out and lay wood.
Yeah, agreed. And then the odds to win. So you can get some pretty good odds here. So Deegan's minus 175. And then it jumps up. Chance Hymas is plus 500. Joe Shimoda's plus 200. Tom Vial's plus 500. Ty Masterpool plus 700 and Levi Kitchen plus 1,000. So you have some pretty good odds if you don't think Hayden Deegan's going to win. He's won what?
I think I'd
This?
take that Hymas bet.
Yeah,
$100.
yeah, plus 500, right? It's Hayden's won 4 of the 6 overall, so it's hard to bet against him. But again, we've seen it to where he might have an issue, whatever. So you're getting pretty good odds on this. So if you're interested, check out BetOnline AG. Great odds, and they might be adding some more. Usually, they add some more as the weekend goes on, and also know the odds can change. So as people bet, the money lines can change. So just keep that in mind.
So if you place a bet $100 at a 500 on Hymas, does that lock in that bet?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, but then it could change up and down. But your bet's locked in on whatever you locked in when you put your $100 in.
Correct. Yeah. So if you make that bet with those odds, it locks it in. And then as we get closer to the weekend, based off how people are betting, the money line and odds change. So it's similar to like football and basketball, all those things. Is as the bets come in, the odds start fluctuating based off who they think.
No, racing's different than baseball and football because you need 2 balls to race.
But yeah, same thing. So if you get it early, you get the best odds. If you wait, you get not as best odds because they start seeing who's betting on what. So yeah, get on there before everybody else does if you want to make these bets. Yeah, last thing I want to talk about, and then I'll open up to you, is I want to get your winners for Millville this weekend in 250 and 450 class.
I'm gonna go with. I think Chase is gonna do great, but something tells me Hunter's gonna strike back. I'm gonna go with Hunter.
Okay.
And I think Deegan's gonna bounce back. I think Deegan's gonna have that fire in his belly.
Yeah. He's probably super pissed about that wreck second moto.
Yeah, he's gonna counter. I think both of them are gonna counter punch.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go. This is gonna sound like the safe bet, but I just feel like that's just what's gonna happen. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna go Sexton 450, Deegan 250. Both of the guys in the lead in the title. I feel like those guys have the most confidence out of everybody, especially Deegan. He's not lacking that by any means. So it'll be a fun weekend to watch. Anything else you want to talk about? 250, 450, Millville, rumors?
I want to talk about going to bed. I'm tired, son.
Well, we'll let you get. So thanks, guys, for joining us for Side Lap round 7 at Millville. We'll catch you guys on Sunday for riders meeting after the race. See you guys.